a principal level A, and the percentage that is obtaining at least E and above. So when we look at history, for females, at least 7.9% got A. This compares to 7.0 for the males. And overall, those that got principal passes, for females, we have 93.3 against 90.2 for the males. Economics, at A, they are at par, 1.9%, but at A to E, the females are at 65.5% and the males are 57.3. As we go down the column, Mama, you will notice that the A to E column for females, the percentages are better than those of the males, particularly in the humanities, as the chairperson said in his remark. But the reverse is true when we look at the science subjects, except at physics, where we have 58.2% of the females getting at least a principal pass E, compared to 57.0. So in that subject, although the males are much better at A, that is 4.3% versus 7.4, overall, the females have done better in that subject. So proportionally, female candidates performed better than their male counterparts at the principal level pass A to E in all the humanities subjects, physics, and the general paper. And Mama, we have been observing this trend over the years. Female entries for the sciences and mathematics have remained lower than that of the males, consistent with the fact that overall female entry is lower than that of the males. The numbers are, however, also rising, as we can see in Table 8 below. So we can also see over the last 5 years, in 2019, we had only 8,942 females that sat for mathematics. Now the number is more than twice, over 100% increase. Physics, the numbers are still low, but again we see an increase of over 100%. And this is replicated also in chemistry and biology. So the numbers are increasing, although, as I have said, Mama, the numbers are still low. I now report performance of special interest groups, starting with special needs candidates, and this is in Table 9. We have again reproduced the categories, the blind, the low vision, the deaf, going horizontally, and then we have indicated those passing with the 3 Ps, disaggregated by gender at 2 Ps, 1 P, and subsidiary passes. And we have given the total, the way the candidates perform. So these are not given any particular consideration, except that they are allowed 45 more minutes for each of the papers that they write. Most of the candidates at the 3 principal passes, or 52%, are in this category. For the prisons inmates, we have them in Table 10. As I have already said, Mama, these sat from the Uganda Upper Prison, Luzira, and they were at 3 principal level pass, 25 of them passed. At 2P, we have 13, and 1 principal level, we have 10, and 1 was absent. And Mama, as we said, all of them qualified for the UACE certificate with at least 1 principal pass. There was only 1 absent, but the majority of them were males, that is 93.8%. Ma'am, allow me to make some brief comments on the work of the candidates. Performance of candidates has shown significant improvements in economics, literature in English, physics, and biology. But we have also noted significant drops in levels of performance in entrepreneurship education, Christian religious education, geography, mathematics, agriculture, and chemistry. Mama, grades for the science subjects have continued to be much lower than for the humanities, which are usually better done. And Mama, we can look back at the tables that I have already presented to confirm this. In the humanities, the problems continue to be poor interpretation of questions due to misunderstanding the key concepts that determine the expected responses by the candidates. In history, for example, inadequate critical thinking skills limited the candidates' ability to analyze historical views. The National Constitution is a major reference material in one of the papers. Poor syllabus coverage also appeared to be a case in many centers, as evidenced by poor responses to questions from several topics, for example, the national income, market structures, taxation, the monetary policy, and so on. These topics tend to come towards somewhere in senior 6, and so those that have not covered the syllabus properly will probably miss out on these. One of the requirements in entrepreneurship education is that the students should gain practical skills through internship in business firms. However, Mama, information available to us indicates that business firms are unwilling to offer placement for these learners. In some cases, the learners are even being asked to pay to get placement. This lack of practical exposure impacts their performance in the examination. The Holy Bible and the Holy Quran are key reference materials in religious education. However, our examiners have reported low levels of knowledge and inability to apply the teachings of the holy books to everyday life situations. This we have also seen earlier, where the cry from the markers indicate that people cannot effectively quote from the Bible or the Quran or use the knowledge that they have in everyday situations. Geography is one of the subjects where performance dropped, and examiners reported poor skills in using the various statistical methods available to explain geographical phenomena. Also, they showed poor application of fieldwork skills to explain daily geographical issues, and candidates are also not relating the theory to the environment. The paper on the geography of Uganda, surprisingly, has always been poorly done. The problem of inadequate map interpretation skills has also persisted because, Mama, we have reported this before. UNEB examines a number of local languages at this level. Candidates offering these languages showed a lack of knowledge of the relevant cultural practices, the meanings of proverbs, and the use of proverbs in sentences. They have also shown lack of appropriate vocabulary to be able to write meaningful translations. That is, if they have to translate a passage from English language, for example, to their local languages, or if they have to write a composition in the local language. In the sciences, the general problem of inadequate practical exposure continues to impact performance. Many candidates could not describe experimental procedures or fail to interpret experimental setups from diagrams that are given in the questions, especially this happened in physics. Some candidates even gave results from experiments without showing how they were obtained. There is also the challenge of relating science concepts to real-life situations. Detailed reports on the work of candidates in each of these will be prepared and sent to schools. Mama, the underlying problem that we have seen in all the subject areas is that as we transition to having competency-based assessment and competency-based teaching, there is the problem of candidates relating the knowledge that they have to real-life situations. Anything that requires candidates to do this, we have observed that performance has not been good. Examination malpractice. Mama, as the chair has said, the cases have been low. Cases were reported from only 38 centers out of the 2,255 centers, and these few will be dealt with in accordance with the regulations. Our gratitude. Honorable Minister, Mama, we give thanks and praise to God for His mercies and faithfulness. As the chair has said, the year 2024 was not easy because we had to deliver 4 examinations, including the first one based on the new curriculum for the lower secondary level. There were many steps we were taking for the first time. That we are here today, Mama, presenting to you the last of the 4 examinations is real testament of God's grace and kindness to us. We could not do this on our own. We are very grateful to you, Mama, for your solid support in all those areas which were critical for the successful completion of our tasks. I am grateful to the chairperson and members of the Parliamentary Committee on Education and Sports for appropriating the necessary funds. I am also grateful to the Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development for releasing these funds to us. I wish to sincerely thank the chairperson and members of the board for their guidance at policy and oversight level. The permanent secretary and the senior staff of the Ministry of Education and Sports, its agencies and other institutions greatly assisted the board in various ways before and during the conduct of the examination. The area supervisors, heads of examination centers, scouts, invigilators, all these worked very well with the board, resulting in a very smooth examination process, and Mama, we sincerely thank them. I'm equally grateful, and I want to extend my appreciation to the Uganda Police, the Uganda People's Defense Forces, and other security agencies that assisted the board to conduct a smooth examination. I am very grateful to the examiners who reported to mark the scripts. Mama, unlike with some examiners at UCE, examiners at this level carried out their work very professionally and patriotically, and we did not have any issues of people wanting to go on strike or putting down their pens. I thank the institutions that allowed the board to use their premises as marking centers. I also thank the parents and guardians for supporting the candidates through the Uace stage in their educational journey. And I am indebted to the members of the press who actively highlighted and publicized UNEB activities throughout the examination period. I thank all the candidates for taking the examination in the first place. And to those that have performed well, I join my chair to say congratulations. I acknowledge with profound gratitude the dedication to duty exhibited by staff at the UNEP Secretariat. Mama, their commitment and sacrifice, which is never visible to the public, enables the board to deliver on its mandate. Today, we shall collectively give glory to God that once again, He has enabled us to deliver on our mandate. Mama, on collection of results, the board will upload the examinations results on school portals as soon as you declare them released, and each school can therefore download their results as soon as they are officially released. Hard copies will be available, but not immediately, and we shall inform the centers. Candidates and candidates only may access the results by using the short messaging service on MTN and Airtel mobile networks, and the results will be posted instantly if they follow the correct instructions that we have given. That is going to the message menu, typing UACE, leaving a space and putting the full index number, and then sending to 6600. Many cases, the candidates make mistakes and then they are unable to obtain their results the way they should. Mama, submission of queries, we wish to request or remind the heads of centers that it is their duty to check the results of their candidates and submit any queries or amendments in time. They should do that electronically through their portals, and we give 21 working days after the release of the results. Adherence to the timelines will enable us to complete any amendments in good time, so that certificates are printed in good time, and also other uses of these results, for example, admissions to universities and tertiary institutions, can be done when we have made all the corrections. Mama, I want to thank you very much for your kind attention, and Mama, my words are finished. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Dan Odong, the Executive Director, UNEP. And though he says that his words are finished, we know that the press will continue to engage him to say more. Ladies and gentlemen, we are just about to invite Professor Bua, but I also want to note, Mama, that the Executive Directors of the other examination bodies are also here. Just kindly stand and wave to Mama, as well as the Executive Director of the National Council for Higher Education, Professor Mary Okwakol, and her team. Mama, by good coincidence, again, today is the International Mathematics Day. Yes, and people can cross-check. And given the kind of information we are getting from Mr. Dan Odong, we want to use this day to encourage many of our learners to stop the phobia of mathematics and actually encourage them to take it up, and we are glad that the girls are already doing it. Ladies and gentlemen, I now want to invite Professor Bua to take us to that moment when we officially hand over the results to Mama for her subsequent action. And I would like to call upon the front bench to support Dr. Obua in carrying out that function. Okay, let's have the two first, the Executive Director and Professor Obua. And this is really the moment where everybody is getting very anxious. And right away, let's have the front bench and all the MPs present, the three of them, join that team. Yes. Our dear press and cameramen, that is the only opportunity we shall have for the official photos of this event. So now that the other team is joining Mama, you are free to take all the Under Secretary, you are encouraged to join. that photo moment. And I'm very confident that that is the picture that is going to make the headlines tomorrow. Sure. We can begin reading the front pages of New Vision and Monitor already. Thank you. And as that moment is concluded, I think Professor Bua noted that there was some confusion in the public related to result A, but I would like to inform all of us that some of us enjoyed more parties at the different schools and communities because everybody had actually performed well. Thank you so much. At this moment, I want to invite Honorable Peter Ogwang to make a few remarks and help us to invite Mama to address the nation. Thank you.
Can I ask all of us to clap for our dear minister before I invite her? Mama, the First Lady and the Minister of Education and Sports, the Chairperson and members of the Committee of Education and Sports, the Permanent Secretary, Minister of Education and Sports, the Permanent Secretary, Education Service Commission, members of the Uganda National Examination Board present here, the Executive Director and members of staff of UNEP present here, members of the press, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Mama, the country waits for your message. Allow me at this juncture to invite you to address the country and formally release the Uace examination results for 2025. You're most welcome, Mama. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Please sit down. Thank you, Honorable Gwang, and thank you, UNEB. My colleagues, the Honorable Ministers of State, now represented by Honorable Peter Gwang, the Chairperson and members of Education and Sports Committee of Parliament, the Permanent Secretary, Minister of Education and Sports, the Chairperson of the Education Service Commission, represented by the Permanent Secretary, the Chairperson UNEB, and your Executive Director, and the whole family of UNEB. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon to you all. We congregate here this afternoon yet again in recognition of the milestone attained by the 140,080 learners who sat for the Uganda Advanced Certificate of Education examinations from the 11th of November 2024 to the 6th December 2024. As you all may know, today's release of results marks the third and last set of end-of-cycle results that UNEB diligently administers annually. On behalf of the government, I want to appreciate UNEB for this work that they do, more so in 2024, when we had to administer the Pioneer UCE examinations under the revised lower secondary curriculum, as well as winding up on the end-of-cycle examinations for UCE under the old curriculum, and then POE also. In my mother tongue, there is a saying that in Runyankore it says, "Otamkwetse, autumikadre tujende," meaning that the spectator in a wrestling match always tells the wrestler please put down this man or woman, your opponent, quickly so that we can go and attend to other issues. Well, UNEB is like that efforts put in to ensure that each year candidates and their parents receive the end of cycle results in time, all the time.